So good morning. It is the morning of the Weartime derby. Newcastle travel the short distance to Wearside to face Sunderland for the first time in the top flight in nearly a decade. We don't need reminding about Sunderland's success in this fixture in the Premier League. 9 unbeaten, far too many defeats for Newcastle United. They did have the return of this fixture in the FA Cup a couple of years back, but the levels were much different, and Newcastle United did what everyone expected them to do, and that was to beat Sunderland at the Stadium of Light. This time around, it's a totally different game, and the prospect of Newcastle United beating Sunderland and kick-starting their season is one that we're all clinging to, but it's going to be a mightily difficult task. Sunderland have started the season very well and are yet to lose at home. Newcastle, of course, if all their players turn up, all their stars have got the better squad, but something just hasn't clicked so far this season. What a game for it to click, and hopefully it does. The game has been slightly overshadowed by the terribly sad news that Sunderland legend Gary Rowell has passed away earlier this week. He scored a hat-trick in this fixture, and no matter your persuasion, if you manage to do that in this fixture, then you are into folklore. We pass our very best to his family and friends. Our prayers, our thoughts are with them at this difficult time. What do I expect from this game? It's a bit of a weird feeling. I remember these games and, you were up for it. 2-3 days, you were buzzing for it. That's kind of come in small glimpses, small waves for me. I've woken up this morning and it kind of feels just like any other game. Of course, it's not. It's the most important game. It's the most crucial game. Don't listen to any Newcastle United fan who tries to tell you this is the third most important game of the week. It's really, really not. We do not want to see Newcastle United lose this. Eddie Howe does not want to lose this game. But there is a bit of a weird feeling about it. It doesn't feel like a derby. Maybe as we get closer to kick-off, that buzz will start to rise. Those nerves will start to build. But right now, it just feels like I'm driving in for any other match day. I still feel it's probably going to end a draw. I'm a little bit worried if it is 1-0 Newcastle heading into the last 10 minutes. If it's 1-1 heading into the last 10 minutes, we know what Newcastle can't do, and that's to defend the lead. And we know what Sunderland can do, and that's to score late. So they're my nerves, they're my thoughts pre-game. I'm going to head over to the stadium now. Stick with us. It's going to be a bit of a diary, bit of a vlog, documenting the day. Plenty of content coming your way. And fingers crossed for 3 points for Newcastle United, although I'm not feeling overly confident. Let's go.
Henry, Leo.
And how excited are you for today's game?
Excited. I'm nervous. Nervous and excited.
What do you think the score is going to be?
2-1. 3-1.
Right, it's just gone 11 o'clock. Plenty of Sunderland fans milling around as you might expect. Pubs starting to fill up. Here we are, as you can see there, Stadium of Light behind me. It's windy, bit of a bitter chill in the air. Spoken to a couple of Sunderland fans already, as you'll see in the video, and they're feeling confident. Close score lines predicted. I think everyone, whether Newcastle or Sunderland, are just happy to have this derby game back. Although if you ask that question come this evening, opinions might change.
We are Sunderland and we are Sunderland. We are Sunderland and we are Sunderland.
My shoulder, this is where the Newcastle United fans are going into the Stadium of Light, and I have to say it's been a bit of a strange feeling so far this afternoon. Newcastle United fans not really got too much voice about them, not too boisterous. Sunderland fans in great voice, and of course look, they've got a little bit more shout about in terms of how their season's gone so far, and I actually think that's probably better for Newcastle United. They're going to focus both on the terraces and on the pitch on the game. That's where their focus lies. And the way Sunderland have been coming into this game in terms of the atmosphere here, singing, chanting, insulting chants to a degree, taking the mix slightly, all part of the fun of a derby game. That sets them up for a big fall. So let's see what happens at the end of the game. Just under half an hour to kick off here at the Stadium of Light, and to be put it kindly, it's extremely loud. And if we just kind of go off topic slightly, and we ever want to talk about what Newcastle United tannoy system and atmosphere should not sound like, it is probably this. You can barely hear yourself think. The music is so loud, I don't even think you could turn it up any louder. It is deafening. It's actually hurting my head slightly. If there were any singing from the crowd, just drowning it out. I mean, listen to it. Unbelievable. So we've had the team news through and some big calls by Eddie Howe. Elanga starts ahead of Harvey Barnes. Big moment for him. Hasn't hit the ground running since his move from Nottingham Forest. Hopefully this is the game where he can make himself a hero and kick-start his campaign for Newcastle United. And the other one is Lewis Miley in the middle, Joe Linton on the bench. That's the call many wanted to see happen. It's the call Eddie Howe has made. Lewis Miley, Geordie lad, Newcastle fan, has a chance to make himself a hero. Not long now till kick-off. The nerves are building, but I'm not really feeling it because I'm getting deafened by this music. Look at that. I'm not sure anyone can hear themselves sing. Goodness me. Right, let's get on to kick-off. I've just quickly popped outside. It's half time. It's currently Sunderland 0, Newcastle 0. And I have to be honest, Sunderland have been great. Newcastle have been pretty poor. It's one of the worst performances, first half performances I can remember under Eddie Howe. Sunderland have just had more desire, more want, and they've had the quality as well. They've gone forward with the ball more often. They had more possession. Now, there's not been too many clear-cut chances. There's been one near the end of the first half, which is more of a half chance, a header that went high and wide. So there's not been too many times Newcastle have looked really in too much danger, but Sunderland have passed the ball around more. And I'd say actually they've been in control. The last kick of the game, really, Sunderland failed to get the ball into the box. Good opportunity for a cross, and the whistle goes for half-time. Sunderland fans were not very happy about it because their team just delayed getting the ball into the box, and thankfully Newcastle was saved by the whistle. And I'm trying to think of positives that I've saw in that first half, and it's very difficult to do so. The two wingers, Gordon and Alanga, have been particularly poor, and that's kind of affecting the whole flow. Alanga doesn't look like he could trap a bag of cement, and Gordon, he's tried to take on a man once or twice and lost the ball every single time. When your key players aren't performing, then your team doesn't perform, and it really is impacting, I think, the flow of the entire team. So hopefully here at half-time, Eddie Howe has gone into that dressing room and he's really given them a telling off and told them it's not acceptable what he is saying, because although there has been no clear-cut chances really for Sunderland, they've been in control, and they're only going to take one moment. Dan Burn has gone off with an injury. Fabian Shearer has come on, so hopefully after, I think it's about 10 minutes he's had, he'll be settled into the game. And fingers crossed we see a totally different Newcastle United. Don't be surprised if Harvey Barnes comes on for Alanga or Jacob Murphy at half-time, because he's been that poor. And Anthony Gordon as well, I think the only thing I'd saves him from a half-time substitution is the fact that they've already used one, and that is Dan Burn going off for Fabian Shearer. Not good enough from Newcastle United, and they really need to sharpen up in the second half. Show a little bit of fight, show a little bit of desire, and just find that little bit of quality. United have lost 1-0 to Sunderland here at the Stadium of Light. As you can see behind me, everyone is gone now. They're just taking down the last of the equipment. I give you my half-time verdict, and I really had hoped that Eddie Howe would get into the players and whatever he had to say during the interval would kick them into shape, but it just didn't happen. There was no improvement on a dreadful first half, and that is concerning. This game matters so much to the fan base and to the city and to the region. It's all about bragging rights. And I can accept losing to Sunderland, I really, really can. And often, a game is decided either with a real bit of quality or with a freak goal like we saw with Nick Valdemare's header, which ended in the wrong net. But what I can't accept is the quality of performance. Newcastle United's players, bar maybe Bruno, bar maybe Lewis Hall, did not turn up at all. Sunderland wanted it more. They had more desire, more drive. They were 2-3 yards ahead of Newcastle United. Don't even worry about the second ball. Sunderland just wanted the first ball more than Newcastle United. Really, really dreadful performance, concerning performance that Newcastle United stars, who on paper are better than Sunderland's team, did not turn up for this one. And this is going to have a huge knock-on effect. Quick turnaround with Fulham in midweek and then Chelsea. But really, those two games now are so important for Newcastle United and Eddie Howe. It will soften the blow slightly if they get through to the semi-final of the Carabao Cup and then go on to put in a performance against Chelsea. But that's the problem. Will they put in a performance? Because tonight, this afternoon, the performance was shocking, and it was arguably, for me, one of the worst performances I've seen under Eddie Howe. And I don't say that lightly, but there was a major concern with Newcastle United on the road, and people had hoped the magnitude of this game that Newcastle's stars would get up for this, as they do against City, against Arsenal, against Barcelona in that first half. But they didn't. They really, really did not turn up. Big questions have to be asked. Bruno's spoken to the press, Eddie Howe's apologised and said sorry to the fans. But really, words don't matter. It has to come with action on the pitch. And that starts with a win against Fulham. But I think more than that, it needs a really good performance, because we've not seen too many good performances from Newcastle United this season. Now, interestingly, Howe said that it was better today here at Sunderland than it was against West Ham and Brentford. Let me know in the comments your thoughts on that, because I'm not too sure it was, truth be told. I really, really don't think it was. And even if it was, why is that the bar that Newcastle United are setting themselves? We need to We need to aspire to be more than that. We really, really do. And look, few players come away with any credit. I've mentioned Bruno, I've mentioned Hall, but those two aside, I'm struggling to pick anyone out and give them more than maybe a 4 or 5 out of 10. This is going to sting, this is going to hurt, but look, Sunderland deserved that victory. No complaints from me. They wanted it more. That's the bottom line, and they had the quality. Often in these games, one side wants it more, and the quality doesn't really matter. It's that drive and desire that wins you the game. But here, they had the quality as well as the desire, as well as the want, and they were comfortable. Didn't create too many chances, but they didn't need to, because Newcastle United were not pushing them at all. Dreadful performance from Newcastle United. There's no positives whatsoever. If you've got a positive, let me know in the comments. It felt weird all day, and I have to say Sunderland set the tone. I complained or had a little moan about pre-match, the atmosphere and how loud the noise was, but I have to say, as the players came out, the work from the guy in the tannoy, absolutely fantastic, because paused the music at the right time so Sunderland fans could sing the words of the song that was playing. It was brilliant. The atmosphere as the players went out on the pitch was fantastic, and Sunderland set the tone with that. And then from the word go, their players set the tone with just the desire on the ball. I mean, Newcastle United just kind of jumping out of challenges and all of that. There's so many negatives to unpick from this, and we will do on the Monday show. But yeah, I mean, here's a positive. We're sponsored by NordVPN and fpro.com. Thanks to them for staying with us. All the information in the podcast description box. But for now, I'll be back tomorrow in the studio with Mark Brothers to try and unpick this game. But Newcastle United have lost 1-0 here at the Stadium of Light. Awful, really. We'll see you guys very soon.